You can improve your American pronunciation drastically by dropping this one sound.
What is it? What's up, guys, and welcome back to Why Well Friends English. Today we're going to teach you a secret that we have in American pronunciation. We do this all the time, and there's been some people talking about it, but just not enough, because frankly it is a big difference in natural pronunciation that happens because we do this almost without thinking.
We're famous for just lopping off things that don't matter to us, or we squish sounds together, or we run words together. Most languages do this to some degree, but in American English, it's particularly, we get lazy.
Specifically, the sound that is often dropped, that we like to drop in American pronunciation, is the schwa sound, or the sound. And so a lot of times you get these words, especially the longer ones, where there will be one stress on a particular part of that word, a syllable, a sound in that word, and the other parts will be not stressed. So for example, take the word opportunity. As you can see on the screen, the emphasis or the stress is on that tune part of opportunity. And so what happens to these other syllables is that we are tempted in American pronunciation to kind of reduce them to that schwa sound. Now this doesn't always happen though.
This stressed and unstressed syllable pattern is going to give the rise and fall of English. That's how we emphasize things. That's how we really stress one word over another. We've done another video where the stress on two different words was the difference between parts of speech, right? You can find a link to that one here. Word stress is really, really important here. So in these unstressed syllables, we do not always reduce those other vowels to a schwa. A lot of the times we do, but we don't do it all the time. So for example, volcano. The emphasis is going to be volcano. The stress is on the second syllable. But if we reduced the others, we'd get volcano. Which some accents in America are very popular and known for dropping and overly using the schwa. Okay, they really reduce and weaken the vowels in the unstressed syllables. They're very popular for that. But that's not the focus of today.
No, on today's video, we're going to do it a little bit differently, where we're just going to give you a whole bunch of these so that you can kind of get a feel for this idea, this dropped syllable, and how it manifests itself. Because if you're paying close attention to these words, you're going to find that a lot of times we tend to drop these middle sounds or these middle syllables, especially when it's just a simple schwa altogether. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually have the words on the screen for you to be able to follow along with. We're going to show the word, we're going to say the word, and then we're going to give an example sentence with the word. And so we hope that as you go on, you're able to hear and see the dropped syllable as we progress through this monumental list of words.
At the end, we're going to have some challenge sentences for you to pronounce with 2 to 3 of these words in them so that you can really test yourself.
Let's get to it.
The first word is aspirin.
Like, I need some aspirin. The second word is average.
Her scores are above average.
Good for her.
Number 3 is Barbara.
Barbara lives next door. No, we say Barbara lives next door. Next one is beverage.
Can I interest you in a beverage?
Yes, please.
The next one is broccoli.
Classic. I love baked garlic broccoli.
How many kids say broccoli?
Broccoli.
When they're learning to spell it. Just so you know, by the way, as we go, we do mispronounce some of these words that we drop the unstressed vowels in. We do tend to say it incorrectly in our head so that we can spell it correctly on paper. That is a common strategy for spelling. So just so you know, keep that incorrect pronunciation in your mind so that you can spell correctly. But otherwise, this is how we say it normally.
Next one is business.
That's none of your business.
Whoa. Another interesting one with this is if a person's very busy, then we would say busyness, like the busyness of life. And so it kind of changes it a little bit to actually add that drop syllable back in to kind of keep it distinguished from business.
Camera. So you're going to hear people do both of these. You're going to hear somebody say camera, and you're going to hear people say camera. Give me the camera.
For example, look at the camera.
Say cheese.
The next one is Catholic.
The Catholic church down the street is doing a cookout. How about chocolate?
Everybody likes chocolate, but do you like dropping that middle syllable in chocolate? Do you like dark chocolate?
I do like dark chocolate.
Chocolate?
Not chocolate. The next one is comfortable.
Comfortable.
Convertible.
I love to drive in my convertible. I feel comfortable right now. The next one is conference.
Not conference.
Conference.
Conference. We just got back from a conference. Deliberately.
The mailman deliberately dropped my package. I saw him, and I'm reporting him. Next one is desperate.
The family is desperate for answers.
Desperate.
The next one is diamond.
Her ring had a big diamond on it.
Didn't.
Not hers.
No, I would lose it.
The next one is diaper.
Who wants to change the baby's diaper?
Diaper.
Diaper. Diabolical diaper. Difference.
I don't see the difference.
You don't? The next one is different.
The different ideas are not equal in value.
Discovery.
Do you like watching the Discovery Channel?
Do we say discovery or do we say discovery?
Discovery Channel. Discovery Channel.
I know that I tend to say discovery because I used to pronounce that E all the time.
Yeah.
Discovery. When I hear people, a lot of them say discovery. Discovery Channel.
And also this one's particularly difficult because the verb to discover is already there. So going back to that previous video that Amber mentioned before, you have that difference between the noun and the verb that can alter that pronunciation. The next one is elementary.
Ooh. Elementary? Elementary.
Elementary.
This one can sound very British very quickly.
Elementary with almost with a ch sound, or elementary, like a tree outside, versus elementary. Elementary.
Elementary. Sandra has 2 kids in elementary school.
Next one is evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Every.
Oh, that's a classic one. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video.
Yes. Extraordinary.
Oh man, those good long ones. I love them. The new images from the James Webb Telescope are extraordinary.
It's not extraordinary. Extraordinary. It's not like it's extraordinary. Extraordinary here in the American South, but we'd say extraordinary. Family.
Your family is weird, but I love them.
Favorite.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Put that in the chat below.
Chocolate.
Not chocolate. The next one that's difficult is federal.
Federal. But you say like federal law, right? Federal taxes. So federal laws are crucial to order.
The next one is general.
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 If we say general, it sounds like you're like talking to like a commander in the military. So the, top brass, okay, you would have a general. But if you say, in general, Arkansas summers are hot and wet. In general.
Generally speaking.
But if you say general, it sounds like you're talking to a military commander.
A really good one is interest.
Can I interest you in a walk?
It's hot.
It is hot. Interesting. Interesting.
That's interesting.
We don't say interesting. Some people will, to be kind of silly or to slow down, or just to be dramatic. But they'll say interesting.
Interesting.
But when we're speaking quickly, we tend to say interesting.
Interestingly, that's true. Next one is ivory.
Ivory is costly.
Ivory.
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 Ivory is costly.
The next one, which is kind of a funny one, is jewel.
The jewel shined brightly.
To ramp this up a little bit, you can call the stuff that women wear in general jewelry.
Jewelry. Not jewelry, but jewelry. This one's really hard for a lot of English learners to say is jewelry. Jewelry.
That's your pronunciation homework.
Do you like jewelry?
I don't, actually.
No, I don't really wear it either.
Next one is Joel.
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 Joel is hilarious.
He's pretty funny.
Laboratory.
Take it to the laboratory. Laboratory.
No, we don't say laboratory. We say laboratory.
The next one is Margaret.
Margaret is sweet. She's a sweet lady.
Ooh.
Memory or memory. Depends.
This one's tough. Some people
Yeah.
definitely just say 2 sounds, memory, and others say memory.
I have nothing like this in my memory, right? Memory. But we could also say, let me jog your memory. We'll say it both ways. Miniature or miniature.
Miniature.
Miniature horses are adorable, okay? But we could say miniature horses are adorable. This one also mostly comes down to accent, but I hear both. Even here in the American South, I hear both of them. So if we're going to go for a true Southern accent, or one of the Southern accents, is going to be miniature. Miniature. But I'm starting to hear miniature a lot more, so it's very interesting.
Next one is miserable. Miserable.
Cold, rainy days make me feel miserable.
The next one is mystery.
Can you solve the mystery?
Mystery.
Well, and this is another one. If we slow down because we're telling a joke, we'll say mystery, right? We'll say mystery. But then when we're speaking normally, we just say mystery. It's a mystery.
Nobody knows why we do this. Why Do we do this?
Natural.
The Rock doesn't look natural. The next one is opera.
Ooh, not opera.
Opera!
Have you ever attended an opera?
I don't think I have, actually.
I don't think I have either. Or either. That's another video.
Another good one is preference.
Preference. We don't really say that.
We don't say it in that, but if we do it as an adjective, where we say that person's getting preferential treatment.
Well, it's because of the verb, he prefers this, right? In the noun, we have preference.
Ooh.
So tricky. This one's tricky. Make sure you get it right in the parts of speech. My preference is to stay in and play a board game.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Yeah, it normally is. Another very classic one is probably or probably.
Or probably.
Mm.
People will say that too, especially younger generations will say probably. I'll probably go there. I'll probably do that. It's a little bit annoying, but it's because it's from the younger generations. We also say probably. I'll probably be there. But some people say I'll probably go. I'll probably go. So I will probably be there, or I'll probably go. Or I'll probably go. We might as well throw that out there because that's what the younger generations are saying.
The youngins. The next one is respiratory.
He has a respiratory infection.
Respiratory infection.
But we'll say respiratory infection.
Another classic word is restaurant.
Restaurant.
Restaurante. Just add it in there. Just
Nope.
extra.
So, restaurant. Do you want to eat at a restaurant for dinner?
Yes, please. Do you want to pay for a restaurant for dinner?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Reverence.
Reverence.
Reverence is tricky. It's not a word that you're going to use that common, but who do you give reverence to?
Another classic 2 and 3 one is separate.
Because the verb is separate, to separate you two, but then you have separate rooms. Okay, so make sure you catch the difference between the verb and the adjective here.
Just like she was saying, you have separately.
This is the adverb, so it's always going to be separately, not separately.
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 For example, Grant needs to speak with each of you separately.
The next one is several.
Ooh.
Several.
Several.
I don't think we say several at all.
Like you've been saying, in case a person wants to slow way down and then they will say it, but a lot of times I've heard that it's been made fun of more than actually saying that's a legit pronunciation.
Yes.
Several, and people start to snicker.
There's several coffee shops downtown.
Several coffee shops. Next one is sophomore.
Pete's daughter is a sophomore in college.
A classic one is temperature.
And not temperature, but temperature. If you can listen to this very easily by listening to the weather or the news. You can hear temperature, temperature. You'll hear it and adjust to it much faster.
For example, baking sourdough requires a hotter temperature.
Theory.
Theory.
Theory. I have a theory.
Next one is toward.
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 Let's continue hiking toward the peak.
Next one is traveling.
Ooh, not traveling or traveling. I've heard that. Students say that. If you come from a language where you really want to put a vowel after that V sound because it makes it easier before you go into an L, this one's tricky because these students, they struggle to hear that that's what they're doing. Same with people. They'll say people. It's the same thing. So travel, vul, traveling. Very tricky. Do you like traveling?
Yeah. Another classic one is vegetable.
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 But we say veggies also. So would you like some veg or some veggies? Or would you like vegetables?
Along with that is veterinarian.
Which is spelled veterinarian.
Veterinarian.
Yes, but it's veterinarian. So we need to call the veterinarian.
Ooh.
We actually do.
Very, very classic beginner English word here. Wednesday.
Not Wednesday, which some English accents will do around the world, but it's Wednesday in America.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. The softball game is on Wednesday.
Lastly, we have wonderfully, not wonderfully.
He did wonderfully on the final exam.
Good for him.
All right, so now let's put some of these together in tricky sentences. We're going to show you the sentence on the screen. You are going to say it. You can pause your screen to read it out loud to yourself, and then we will say it out loud. Are you ready?
Wednesday's opera went wonderfully.
Number 2, Margaret felt miserable.
Poor Margaret. Number 3, there were several sets of jewelry taken from her collection.
Well done. The next one, Joel's restaurant preferences are extraordinary.
Number 5, kids love interesting discovery museums.
Number 6, the traveling veterinarian drove toward the state line.
Number 7, has anyone deliberately chosen a favorite federal law?
It's a question you never thought you'd ask.
I never thought I would ask that question, but here I am.
I use this camera for business purposes only.
Number 9. Barbara took an aspirin because she was desperate for some back pain relief.
What's the difference between an average elementary school student and a high school sophomore?
So guys, there you go. So we hope that you can kind of use this as a frame of reference to practice dropping these syllables. Like Amber said earlier, it's not that you should completely ignore the fact that there are letters in our language, but a lot of times if you concentrate on them too much, you might get that pronunciation wrong, and then unfortunately you sound a lot more like a foreigner than a native speaker. So if you want that more natural pronunciation, try using these sentences repeatedly until you kind of get the rhythm of how to say these words.
All right, guys. Well done. This is a different kind of video today. This is a little bit of an experiment. So if you liked this video, please let us know in the comments or shoot us an email or something. We would love to hear from you guys. This is different, and it's a lot of words. It's a lot. But for practice purposes, this is really helpful to know because the odds are you already knew plenty of these, but hopefully there were some in there that you did not yet know. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.